All right. Good afternoon, Mr. Johnson. Y'all are still on mute there.
Got it.
There we go. Mr. Johnson, would you introduce yourself? Tell us your name and your DOC number.
My name is Ronald Johnson, 118015.
All right, Mr. Johnson. Let me just acknowledge the folks who joined us. We have Ron Hicks, Patricia Tratton, Bo Jaro, and Yolanda DeMole. And we will be hearing from those who've indicated they want to speak on your behalf. Also joining us, representing Ms. Cassandra Johnson, we have Nikisha Grow, Rick Isidore, and John Piquet, all of whom will be speaking. Also in opposition is Sheila Narcisse and Ray Riley with the Plaquemines Parish Victim Assistance Coordinator, all on Zoom. So before we get started, Mr. Johnson, let me just read some identifying information. You're classified as a first felony offender. You're currently serving a life sentence. You were sentenced in May 1987 in Plaquemines Parish for a second-degree murder conviction, and you are seeking a commutation of your sentence. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
So, Mr. Johnson, tell us what you did and why we ought to vote for you today.
Well, since I've been incarcerated, I tried to better myself by helping other people for about 5 or 6 years. Then I got a job at the tag plant, and I worked at the tag plant for about 4 years. And then I got into prison enterprise. And for me, I see myself as not being the same person I used to be. You know, it's like I could be a valuable asset instead of a liability, you know.
Tell us what you did to get locked up in jail.
I committed a felony murder. You know, I killed my wife.
All right, well, we'll get into that in just a few minutes. Let me ask Warden Olivo, is there anything you can tell us about Mr. Johnson?
Yes, he AU'd here in 1987. He served about 38 years. He's a Class A trustee at Camp F. He works at our Big House Cafe, which is affiliated with our museum. He's had 17 disciplinary reports, with the last report being in 2019. He's completed anger management, 100 hours, substance abuse, victim awareness, and letter training, Inside Out Dead's computer science program, and he has awards from Prison Enterprise for like 28 years of working with them. And his Tiger score is low.
All right, let's hear from Mr. Ron Hicks, please.
Hey, good afternoon to this honorable board and to all the men that are on the board. I hope you had a great Father's Day yesterday. Thank you for allowing me to speak. My name is Ron Hicks, and I'm grateful to speak on the behalf of Mr. Ronald Johnson. I've known Mr. Johnson for at least 30 years. When I arrived at Angola, Mr. Johnson was already there. And when I hit the main prison, I encountered Mr. Johnson, who was also doing some good work even there. Arriving there in 1987, he was already in the process of trying to help other young men who are arriving at the prison to make a difference in their lives. During those 30 years, Mr. Johnson has always been a respected voice of wisdom that I tend to listen to. Not only me, but so many other young men that were in the institution were looking to see a better way of life. We had done things that were not pleasing to society, and we were removed out of society and found ourselves incarcerated. And we had people like Mr. Johnson who were speaking words of wisdom, trying to help us to redirect our path. His voice of wisdom helped me and so many other people to make great decisions in our lives that led us into better situations, not only in the institution, but some of the men have been released out into society. Throughout the years of knowing Mr. Johnson, he has always been involved in positive programming and committed himself to a lifestyle of rehabilitation. His rehabilitation has been acknowledged by DOC, even as the warden just spoke about, working for Prison Enterprise for over 28 years is unheard of. He's a trustee and do many other jobs within the prison. Mr. Johnson has served several decades of incarceration, in doing which he's shown and expressed deep and sincere remorse for the crime he committed. Mr. Johnson demonstrated that he's ready to return to society as a law-abiding, role-model citizen. Granting Mr. Johnson's application would not only recognize his transformation, but also affirm our belief in redemption and second chance. I am committed to help Mr. Johnson make a smooth transition back into society by providing resources and spiritual mentorship to him. I respectfully ask this honorable board to grant Mr. Johnson's pardon. Once again, thank you for the opportunity to speak on his behalf. God blessings.
Thank you. And let's see, Patricia, Miss Patricia, there at Angola, we'd like to hear from you.
Yes, ma'am. Do I talk to you from my seat here?
Yes, ma'am.
That's fine. That's perfect.
Hi, my name is Patricia Traha, and I met, thank you for the opportunity to speak on behalf of Mr. Johnson. I met him a little over 10 years ago here at Angola Prison. My son was incarcerated at Phelps, and when they closed that prison here, he was transferred here along with a lot of other drug offenders, and wound up here at Camp C. And I was so grateful for Mr. Johnson's taking my son under his wing and working with him. He was a great mentor and made my life easier. I want to also express my thanks to the parole board. When he was paroled like 6 years ago, y'all took a chance on him. He's been clean and sober since, and I still give a lot of credit to Mr. Johnson at this time because they do keep in touch with each other. They talk weekly. I see Mr. Johnson as a father role model in my son's life, and I appreciate him. I'm sorry, I've choked up with this. I'm grateful for Mr. Johnson, and I hope that he gets the opportunity to continue to work with people, because I'm sure he will. I think he's a good person, and I'm sure that he made a mistake. I never asked what it was about, and I'm not going to now. But I've always seen him as a highly respected individual with other young people like my son and the other wardens in my experience coming to Angola. So I hope he gets the opportunity to get out and continue to prove his good deeds with other people. So thank you for listening to me. I appreciate it.
Thanks for speaking with us. We do appreciate it. And Mr. Bennett, what would you like to say?
Thanks for allowing me to speak. I met Cowee, Ronald Johnson, back in 2012 when they closed down Phelps and sent us all over here. And at the time, it was a big thing to put up with. And I was very attitude at the time. And I was angry at all kinds of things, but mainly myself for being stupid enough to not listen to my mom and end up in prison in the first place. When I met Cowee, it was through a friend that knew I was very interested in the hobby shop, and that hobby shop might be the only way to take idle hands and put them to good use. And the only person that was willing to take a chance on me to put me on their box was my friend Cowee, Ronald Johnson. I didn't meet him before that time, never knew him. And our initial meeting was like, hey, sure, yeah, I'll give you a try. And from then, we had just grown into like brothers, I guess. I would be having a bad mood or something like that and ready to argue with everybody and anybody or a negative thing, and he would just calm the fire. One day I was in there complaining about the quality of wood that we received, complaining that, oh, we're inmates, they'll just do us any old way. They send us this crooked pine. And he sat there and he listened to everything I said. And then he said the only thing that made sense. He said, well, you think that piece of wood is crooked? You should see the tree it came from. And that just killed every argument I ever had on complaining about that kind of stuff again. It was just like, there's bigger things to worry about. When you guys had granted me parole, one of your conditions was to go speak to at-risk youths. And I remember thinking, I am way out of my league here. But the things that I was able to grasp onto to try to even come across to speak to these young people was the things that he had took his time with me on. And I think that those assets could be used in a bigger spectrum than just on the one or two occasional misfits that come across in here and already have done bad things to where maybe it could be done with younger people. And they never have to experience this. And thank you for your time again.
Thanks for taking the time to come talk to us today. Means a lot. All right, Mr. Johnson, your case has been assigned to Mr. Freeman. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize. We have Nikisha Grow who would like to speak.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi. So I am Nikisha Gore. I'm the victim's daughter. So I'm in opposition. So I just want to, make sure that that's understood. I'm not speaking on his behalf.
Right, I understand.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. I am just here today to ask you guys to not grant the commutation of his sentence. He murdered my mom when I was 8 years old. He did it in front of us with no regards to the fact that we were there. It's my understanding that he had a disturbing of peace charge the day before he killed her, and he was let out on some type of bond, and then he killed her the day of, if I'm not mistaken. He's had a pattern of abuse. He held her hostage in her own home, threw her clothes out the house. It's something that we live with every day. Life does go on. You grow up. I have siblings. I have two brothers that are his sons. We are, I wouldn't say strained. We have a strained relationship, but we don't have a normal sibling relationship, which is a direct effect because of what he did. I can close my eyes and I can listen to the sound of her breathing when he repeatedly stabbed her. So it was gruesome. It was brutal. It was in front of her kids. I just ask that he remain in jail and that he finishes out the sentence that was, that he was given. For my own sanity, for my peace of mind. My mom's birthday is in 2 weeks. It's hard every single year. It does not go away. This was his choice, and it didn't have to be as brutal as it was, but this is what he chose to do. He stabbed her repeatedly in front of her kids. It's not something that I just don't think that he should be granted a commutation. I think he needs to live the rest of his natural life in jail.
Let me ask her one question.
Yes.
When I was reading the different letters, were you, the three children, were y'all all separated and went to different families?
No, so my brother John and I, we lived with my mom. My youngest brother Rick, he was adopted before this happened. To my understanding, Mr. Johnson did not want another child. He did not believe this was his child. So he made my mom give him up for adoption. So Rick did not even get a chance to know us, to know our mother. No one.
After the murder, did you and your brother stay together or did y'all go to different families?
We did not. We went to different families. I have a different dad, of course. So I went to live with my dad, and my brother John, he stayed with my mom's sister. So again, we don't have a normal sibling relationship. We were all separated.
Okay, that's what I wanted to find out.
Yes,
Thank you.
ma'am.
All right, thank you, Ms. Rowe. We appreciate hearing from you.
You're welcome.
Can we hear from Rick Isidore? Do I have that right? Is that your?
I don't
Hello?
believe he was speaking today, or maybe he is.
Hello?
Yeah. Rick,
Okay.
is there something you'd like to say to us? Can
I
you
just
hear?
say, I just say that I don't think that he should be given the possibility to live amongst normal people after the heinous acts that he committed against us. I mean, we have missing pieces of our lives that we will never get back, and it's voids, and that happen, that become part of a person that we can't feel. And it, like my sister said, we have a very different relationship because of the events. So I agree that he should not be let out of prison for the rest of his natural life.
Well, thank you for taking the time to speak with us today. And we have John, is it PK?
PCAT.
PK. All right, Mr. PK, we'd like to hear from you, sir.
Well, as my brother and my sister just recently stated, it's unanimous. We all feel the same way. I mean, you take a life, you get life. That's what the sentence is. That's what the sentence should be from here until the end. Um, as my sister stated, with it happened right in front of us. I mean, it's something we struggle with every day. I they explain this to my kids numerous times as they get older and older. Why they don't have this grandparent or why they don't have that grandparent. I mean, it's a different dynamic than what's supposed to be. This is not normal life. It's a struggle. It's a pain. Um, yeah, basically, I'm opposed to everything as well. Life is life.
All right, thank you for taking the time to be with us today. Now, Mr. Johnson, your case has been assigned to Mr. Freeman. Would you answer his questions, please?
Okay, Mr. Johnson, how old were you when you committed this crime?
31.
And you took a plea bargain? You didn't go to trial, right?
I didn't go to trial.
Okay, what, you took the plea bargain so they would take the death penalty off the table, or you just pled guilty?
I pled guilty.
Okay. What was the argument about that day? I mean, what caused you to stab your wife?
I was called to the house. My mother told me that she had called me and wanted to speak with me. So when I got over there, we got into a heated argument about some things that had happened the day before.
I see you claim that she stabbed you first.
I was stabbed in the hand trying to take the knife.
Take the knife. Did you have a knife of your own?
No, sir.
So you took the knife from her and you stabbed her with that knife?
Yes, sir.
I mean, once you got the knife from her, I mean, nothing told you let's quit. Were you on drugs?
No, sir. I wasn't on drugs. I just lost it. I was frustrated, angry, and I was just messed up.
Um, what kind of classes have you taken that you think will help you when you get out?
Anger management.
Learned in anger management.
Sir,
What did you learn in anger management?
how to control my anger.
And how you do that?
Well, if I get frustrated or mad, the best thing for me to do is just smile about it or laugh about it.
I see you didn't have a bunch of DB reports, but all of a sudden you had a flurry of reports in 2019. Three of them were 30H and 30L. What was that about?
That was about three-way phone call.
Okay.
And that three-way phone call was not initiated by me. I don't know why they came up with that. And if you notice, one of those 30H, they went all the way back to, I think it was March 3rd or the third month, 29th date.
So somebody else made the call and you just got on it?
No, I made the call. But the person who I called someone else on another phone.
Ah, gotcha. And you knew that was illegal?
But I didn't initiate it.
It don't matter.
I know it was illegal. I know it was illegal.
Huh.
I knew it was illegal.
And tell me, what was the contraband in 2019?
The contraband was 2 sheets of rolling paper.
Okay. Okay, and what that was gonna be for cigarettes or
Cigarette.
Okay. I have no other questions.
Before we move on, Miss Riley, did you want to have something to say? I apologize. I didn't indicate that you wanted to say anything.
I originally didn't. Actually, I'm from Plaquemines Parish. I actually am a classmate of one of the sisters that was a witness to the murder. We never spoke of it. I do remember, at the time of the crime, it being a shock to our small community. We are a small community located on the east bank of Plaquemines Parish. And it was so shocking because of the small children that were involved in the matter. And everybody, I remember people thinking, how could this be? He did this while the kids were present. He did this knowing that they would never have a mom, and who would raise them? Who would raise the kids? Like that was I remember that being up in the air. But according to our records, he was arrested for a peace disturbance with the same victim the day before, and he was released on a $50 fine. I don't know if he was released the day of or the day before the murder, but according to our records, he actually broke into the back door where one of the sisters was making some candy in the kitchen, and he grabbed a knife out of the kitchen and went to the room and began arguing with Miss Piquette Johnson, whereby started stabbing her. She had some defensive wounds according to the autopsy. I'm assuming he had some cuts as well. I'm not sure, but according to the reports, also he stabbed her so hard he broke the knife twice and still was stabbing her after the knife even broke. She later died in John and Nikisha's bedroom. So the two of them were asleep initially when the event was taking place, but waking up, not sure at what part they were awakened, but she did pass away in their room. And I can only imagine the heartbreak and heartache that those kids had to go through immediately following, and even up to now, even just going to sleep or putting their own kids to sleep. You know how impactful that is for them to have to endure and to know that they'll never ever see their mom again. Is just unfathomable for me. And obviously our district attorney's office is in opposition of him getting clemency.
Who asked your question?
Mr. Tillis?
You said he had a knife and he came in with it. Did he have a stab wound after in his hand, as he said?
Not to my knowledge. He did not come into the house with the knife. He he kicked the back door in. One of the sisters was making pecan candy and she was using a knife, and he grabbed that knife, according to the report, and used that knife from their kitchen to stab Miss Piquette Johnson.
In the report, did it show that he had some cuts on his hand?
No, sir.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Ms. Stapleton?
Basically what the VAC just said was the things that that I had thought about the fact that the children were home when he did that and that they witnessed all of that. And their ages, I believe, was 8 years old and 4 years old. They were just little bitty children. So, it was horrendous. That's all I have to say. Well, was she stabbed 16 times? Did I read that correctly? Yeah, she was stabbed 16 times. So, yeah, they endured that too. That's all. Any questions?
Mr. Johnson, do you have stab wounds in your hand that you were saying you got stabbed when you were taking a knife away from her? Or cut marks?
I just have a scar in my right hand.
Scar on your right hand? Okay.
All right, I don't see any other questions. I wanted to acknowledge, Mr. Johnson, your work at the Big House Cafe. That's quite a service for the folks, the free folks there. They really enjoy it. And the fact that you, as was stated earlier, that you were a truck driver for Prison Enterprises or worked for Prison Enterprises for 28 years. That's commendable. Thank you for that work. I don't see any other questions.
Move for an executive session.
All right, we have a motion by Mr. Freeman.
I
for
second.
Second by Mr. Tillis for executive session.
Ms. Hernandez.
Yes.
Freeman.
Yes.
Prayer.
Yes.
Phillips.
Yes.
Stapleton.
Yes.
All right, Mr. Johnson will be in executive session for a few moments to discuss confidential matters. Stand by. We'll be right back. All right, I'll make a motion to go back in regular session. Is there any objection? No objection. We're back in regular session. It is 12:55. And we are prepared to vote. And Mr. Freeman.
Okay, yeah, I'm really at a loss with this one. You know, I see what you did 38 years ago is very horrific. I don't think you was totally forthcoming with what happened that day, but I think there was so much fury in that household that you probably wouldn't have remembered all the stuff you done. But you know, on the other hand, for the past 38 years, you've been pretty good. You had that one little stretch in 19 where you were getting crazy, but it was a 3-way phone call. My vote today is gonna be to grant and commute to 99 years with immediate parole eligibility. Get it when we get to that point.
Mr. Taylor,
I concur with Mr. Freeman.
Mrs. Stapleton,
I vote to deny. He had a plea bargain that he agreed to. There's strong opposition from the sheriff, the DA, and the victims, and the crime was very heinous.
Mr. Prater.
I believe it, 70 years old and 38, almost 40 years. Though it was a terrible crime, his record since he's been there has been really good. And so I'm going to concur with Mr. Freeman.
So, Mr. Johnson, based on your age, the length of incarceration, and the work that you've done there helping others, you have a good record with prison enterprises. You're doing good work now. My vote is the same to make the recommendation your sentence be commuted to 99 years. And if that's voted favorable signed by the governor, we'll consider it further at a parole hearing. So that's the recommendation, sir, we're going to make on your behalf. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you.
You got the age wrong, 7 to 9 years old. Started when she was 7. And you were arrested, I guess, when she was 9, because that's when it said. And your original charge was aggravated rape, aggravated crime against nature, sexual battery, molestation of a juvenile. And it was amended down to forcible rape with 30 years. Did you do a plea bargain on that?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay, and then now you're saying that alcohol is what made you do it. And there was a statement here that, let's see, that you couldn't be around a woman because of the alcohol is what you said, without wanting to have sex with her, which would be the child. And that's just the way it was.
No, that's not true.
Okay.
I never made that.
What is true? That wasn't your statement?
No, ma'am. I did not say that.
Okay.
I don't recall that at all.
What about the type of sex that you had with her? You did it that way because you didn't want to really hurt her.
Yes, that's true.
Right?
Yes, that's true.
And then you said she never complained, but yet your punishment was very severe. So what child would complain if they knew that they were going to be punished? Did that ever occur to you?
I never punished them like that. I don't know where that's coming from.
Okay. I'm going to read a statement that is from the DA. Hold on just a second to get to it. Okay, so this is from the sentencing judge. Judge Hamilton states he is strongly opposed to Fuller's request for a commutation of sentence due to the age of the victim and the nature of crimes committed. And then the DA is opposed. The victim in this case was severely traumatized, both mentally and physically, and Fuller should serve the maximum number of years as sentenced. So that's the strong opposition there. And that's all I have.
So, Mr. Fuller, you mentioned to Mr. Freeman that you have contact with your children, except for the son.
Yes.
Are you including Ashley Massey
No.
in that? All right.
No.
Okay. All right. I don't see any other questions, Mr. Fuller. I think we're prepared to vote. Mr. Freeman, you ready to vote?
Yes, ma'am. Fuller, I think you got a big break at sentencing. Your charge reduced, like they said, from aggravated rape and crimes against nature. My vote today is to deny.
Mr. Tillis,
I concur with Mr. Freeman.
Mrs. Stapleton,
I concur with Mr. Freeman, and for the record, the heinous nature of the crime to a very young child.
Mr. Prater.
I concur.
All right, Mr. Fuller, my vote today also is to deny based on the fact of your plea agreement. So today, sir, your application's been denied. Good luck to you. We're gonna sign off at 1:31.
Thank you.
That was rough.
It would be.
Down the wall.
Okay.
Thank y'all. Thank you, ma'am. Bye. Thanks for